We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you another edition of One-on-One Sports. I'm your host, Mike Feldmn.
And I'm Andrew Springs. We have a fantastic show lined up for you tonight. We'll be discussing everything from the NBA and NHL to the upcoming NFL Draft.
That's right, so let's get this show on the road. See you in 30 seconds.
The NFL Draft is right around the corner. Despite the fact that nothing happens on the field, some consider it to be an even greater spectacle than the Super Bowl. Andrew, just how big of an event has the NFL Draft become, and would you skip any actual sporting events to watch it?
The NFL Draft is one of my favorite days and has been since I was a little kid. I used to make up excuses in Little League so I could miss games and watch the draft. My mom would take care of me. She'd bring me food. I love it. I love that it's prime time. I love everything about it. Go NFL Draft. Go NFL. I love it.
See, I'm the exact opposite of you. I've only really started to get into it recently as I've grown up, because I was like 15 minutes between picks. Like, I don't want to wait around, just see the Ravens.
Oh, that's where the magic happens.
Understandable, but you really have to be able to appreciate the intricacies. And at a young age, I wasn't able to do that. Nonetheless, I would skip any Olympic sporting event to watch the NFL Draft. I really don't put any stock in the Olympics, and I think that, to be completely honest, the NFL Draft, if it was sped up a little bit more, I'd be more into it.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the players that are coming into the draft in college football. Tim Tebow haters pay very close attention. The NCAA just banned messages written on eye black stickers. And were the messages ever a problem, or why are they switching it?
Well, I mean, this really started, and I really started to notice this when Reggie Bush started doing it.
Yeah, when he was on his Heisman run.
Right. You know what? I don't really care. And white guys, stop. This doesn't need to become a race thing, but white guys, stop copying off all the black guys who started doing it in the first place. Seriously, write your area code or write, John 316. I don't want to see that. If there's no sun at the game, take the eye black off. You're not that cool. All right. Sure, you might go on to play in the NFL and get paid millions of dollars, but take the eye black off. I'm an old school guy, totally for this.
I think it should be done by a school-by-school basis. The only reason I don't like it is because it's not like a team player type mentality. You're trying to rep whatever your own personal feelings. If a school thinks it should be banned, then they should ban it. And if they don't, then they don't.
Okay, so you mean school-by-school basis in terms of not everyone on the team wears the eye black, but
allowing players to write things or not.
Okay, fair enough. The Stanley Cup playoffs began last weekend, and we all know that NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman is crossing his fingers for a spike in ratings. Michael, what has to happen for the struggling NHL, and it is struggling, to return to its pre-lockout levels?
I think the NHL does do well in the playoffs, and for it to really thrive, you'll have to see the best players playing each other, and also the big cities. So we need to see Ovechkin, Crosby in the Eastern Conference Finals if that's the way that it matches up. And then in the end, you want to see a big city. You want to see Pittsburgh or Washington play a team like Chicago or Detroit. If the big matchups happen, you get more fan base, people will be interested.
Big markets, I get that. I think the increased scoring since the lockout has really helped the league. The no more crease violations, everybody loves that. And the shootouts, I think, have been a great thing in the NHL, because no one wants to watch a 1-1 tie or a 0-0 tie and go home and say, oh, you know what, I got my money's worth, because they didn't. America likes to see winners. They like to see losers.
Absolutely agree.
I think to get it back to where it was before the lockout, I mean, to be completely honest, I'm not that creative a guy. I think the increased scoring is good. I think the shootouts are good. But at the same time, it's always going to lag behind the MLB, the NFL, and the NBA. So I don't see what you could do it to propel itself into the top three.
Speaking of one of those leagues, we're going to talk about the NFL. The career of quarterback Ryan Leaf somehow became even more humiliating when he was recently placed on 10-year probation for possession of controlled substances. The former second overall draft pick is widely considered the biggest bust in the history of American sports. But Springs, who else ranks up there?
All right. I think we can all agree on this. 1984 draft? 1985 draft? I'm not sure. Sam Bowie, round 1, pick number 2, Portland Trailblazers. Guy who was picked after Sam Bowie, a little guy named Michael Jordan of the Chicago Bulls. I'm sorry, but when your franchise passes up Michael Jordan, you will be forever known as the franchise that passed on MJ.
It's very tough to be in between Hakeem Olajuwon and Michael Jordan in the draft, and he certainly did not succeed. For me, I'm going to go pretty recently. Jamarcus Russell, apparently the quarterback of the Oakland Raiders. Apparently word around the street is he's coming into training camp at almost 300 pounds. This dude is almost as big as Robert Gallery, the guy they took early a couple years
Iowa
before him.
left tackle, right.
Yeah, you know, Jamarcus Russell has not put up the numbers. He's coming in fat. He's bad. Let's move on to a different quarterback.
Let's move on indeed. Well, just like Ryan Leaf, we have to take some time off, but don't go anywhere because One-on-One Sports will be back to preview the NBA playoffs. Stay tuned.